I'm Beverly Bell, and I am the wife of Wally Bell, that many people knew in the early 60s in a form of racing, who later on in life went back to the motorsports world and became one of the original pro-mount drag racers. And I was very fortunate to be his partner in life for almost 40 years. We were married. We actually met in the Triple Cities of upstate New York. I had been in the broadcast business at that time, working with a radio and television station combination. They were ABC affiliates. And the sports broadcaster, who was also the sales manager, was a very good friend of Wally. One day he just asked me to go on a lunch meeting with him, and it was when I met Wally Bell. And about 2 days later, my station manager came downstairs and said I was just on the line with Wally, and he asked if he could just say hello. And so he got on the phone, and I just said hello, and it was near Christmas time, and we wished each other Merry Christmas. And later in the week, my sales manager, who was a gentleman who introduced us, was also the TV sports broadcaster, said, "So what do you think of Wally Bell?" And I said, "I hope I have someone in my life just like him someday." And the interesting thing, I collected bells from everywhere I traveled to. The very first gift Wally ever gave me was a gold bell on a chain when he learned that I collected bells. And lo and behold, a little over a year later, my last name is Bell. At 16 years old, by the way, when he started doing some racing, there was a local track, Shangri-La Motor Speedway, that became a round track, and they also had Tri-Cities Airport, and they used to run street drag racing there. And he decided to stop one day, and he went ahead and raced, and he came home with a first place trophy. So he said he knew he loved it then from the story that he told. That was actually his third car, and his first car wasn't an official car, but one that he raced, and then there was a second, and he wanted to go yet even faster because he realized how good he was, and very fortunate to win a lot of races in those years. And that particular Z11 became available, and he learned of it, and he talked to a good friend of his who became his partner on it, and they came to Georgia and they purchased it from Hubert Platt, and the Georgia Shaker went north and became the New York Shaker. As those years were going on, and before he married his first wife, who is the mother of my beautiful stepdaughter, his mother once told him, "You know, Wally, you're very good at what you do, but if you want to follow your dream, get out of upstate New York."
Did you enjoy that profession?
Did I ever? There was never, whenever we were home together, that was us together. Wherever we went, whatever we did, we were always together. And I think probably a way to answer that question is 5 of the guys that came to his memorial service that raced with him, one of them came out of California, one came from Arizona, one came from Tennessee. Charles was there from Charlotte. Charles' son, who actually runs Drag Illustrated now, spoke. But one of those guys put his hands on my shoulders and said, "Beverly, I just want to tell you that there wasn't one of us that didn't envy everything that you and Wally were together and still are together." So if that answers your question, that was us. Oh my gosh, he'd be humbled, he'd be proud. I think I shared with you that when Dennis Jackson wanted to start putting that car together and building it, he first called Wally and said, "Would you mind if I do this?" And Wally then was thrilled. And for 3 years, they talked many, many times and many, many hours. And the day that the first time he put his eyes on it and first physically met Dennis Jackson, he was proud, he was humbled. And Dennis had already aligned, and they were going to be on a 6-stop tour with this 409. And they all wanted and asked, would Wally be with the car? And Wally said, "What do you think? Do I do it?" And I said, "What do you think? He goes, "I'd love to do it." And he was so people-oriented. If he knew this, and he knows that it's here right now, he'd be humbled, and he'd be proud, and he'd be standing there with tears in his eyes, just like, I'm sorry. I could not only see the car, but I could see him with a big smile. Yeah, it's special. This museum is amazing. I can tell you that Wally, not just because his car was here, but if we were coming into Georgia, this would be a stop on the tour.
I want to thank all of our listeners that have followed us. I want to thank all the listeners that didn't follow us. I'm happy that we were honored to do this show, and I'm not saying goodbye. I'm just saying so long.